There are three different races in StarCraft: the Protoss, the Zerg, and the Terrans. The Protoss are known for being the most powerful race, but their units tend to be slightly more expensive than the others. The Zerg, in the middle, are known for being the cheapest and most plentiful of all the races, but their units tend to be slightly easier to kill in battle. The Terrans, on the right, are known for being the most versatile of all the races, and their cost and performance tends to be a little more balanced than the other two. There are three different races, but there are two factions for each race, giving you a total of 6 colors, so you can have a maximum of 6 players if you want to. Now let's take a look at some of the units in detail, starting with the Terrans. The Space Marine is a good all-around unit, and one that you'll probably have a lot of during the game. They can attack air or ground units. The Fire Bat is a little more specialized than the Space Marine, as in it can only attack ground units. The Ghost can attack air or ground units, and it also has a few special abilities, like the ability to cloak itself. The Goliath is a powerful anti-air unit, but it can also attack ground units. The Vulture is one of the cheaper units, and it can only attack ground units, but it has a couple of special abilities as well. The Siege Tank is the most powerful ground unit, but it can only attack other ground units, not air units. Now, among the air units, we have the Wraith, which is a good all-around fighter that can attack air or ground units, and it has a powerful cloaking ability. The Science Vessel, which does not attack air or ground units, but it does have a few powerful special abilities. And finally, the Battle Cruiser, which is the biggest and most expensive unit. It can attack air or ground units, and it has at least one special ability of its own. Now let's move on to the Zerg. The Zerglings here and the Hydralisk are like the foot soldiers of the Zerg army. The Zerglings are extremely cheap and plentiful, but they can only attack other ground units, and they tend to be relatively weak in the game. The Hydralisk is a little more versatile in that it can attack air or ground units, and it tends to be a little more powerful than the Zergling. The Defiler and the Ultralisk are both very specialized units, and they're expensive to build. The Ultralisk can only attack other ground units, but it tends to be very powerful and difficult to kill. The Defiler does not specifically attack air or ground units, but it has a variety of unique special abilities it can use. Moving on to the air units, we have the Mutalisk, which is a good all-around fighter that can attack air or ground units. The Guardian, which is sort of like a bomber that can only attack ground units and not attack other air units. To make up for this deficit, we have the Scourges, which are like a powerful flying bomb that can only attack other air units, but kills itself on contact. The Mutalisk can be morphed into a Guardian, so you need to buy Mutalisks before you can get Guardians at all. The final flying unit is the Queen, which does not attack air or ground units directly, but it has a variety of special abilities, similar to the Defiler. Finally, we have the Protoss, which are more expensive than the other races and not as plentiful, but they do tend to be the most powerful. The foot soldier of the Protoss army is the Zealot, which can only attack other ground units, followed by the Dragoon, which can attack air or ground units, but is a little more expensive. The other units are a bit more specialized. The Reaver here can only attack other ground units, but it has powerful attacks and splash damage, which might affect more than one enemy. Likewise, the High Templar is quite specialized in that it does not attack air or ground units, but it uses special abilities only, similar to the Queen or Defiler on the Zerg side. The final ground unit is the powerful Archon, which can only be created by combining two of the High Templars. But once created, it has a powerful attack that can attack air or ground units. Among the flying units, we have the Scout, which is the Protoss all-around fighter attacking air or ground units. The Carrier, which is a very powerful weapon that can attack air or ground units, but tends to be very expensive to build. And finally, the Arbiter. This is another unit that uses special abilities only and does not have a specific air or ground attack. Generally, units like these that have special abilities only need to be used quite carefully. You need to really think about what abilities to get for them via the research action and how they're going to be used in battle before you invest in them.